Come on, guys. I mean, we started this band because we love playing Dragon tunes. We couldn't imagine playing anything else. What happened?
Dude, I thought it'd be a goof.
A goof?
Chris, seriously, wouldn't you rather fail as yourself than succeed as some Bobby Pierce clone?
Well, yeah, well, Rob, maybe you can write me a song about why in the hell I would ever want to do that.
All right, you're gone, man. Just go.
Oh man, has there ever been a more embarrassing way to get fired from your own band?
Listen, man, all the talent in that band just left that room. You think the Third Eye Blind singer is gonna be the right front man for this?
Look, man, he brought all those amplifiers and those cables. So
New cables, new cables. That's what he also brought that voice. He also brought the voice.
Hey, what's so fucking funny?
Oh, sorry, Mark.
So welcome back. This is episode 75.
75.
Of the Last Row podcast. This is like a milestone of some sort.
Do they call that? Is that like an anniversary? Is that like a gem or something?
Some type of anniversary. I don't know what it is.
You're married like 25 years. Like, what is it?
I have no idea. I haven't been married 75 years.
Is 50 silver or is 100 silver?
Probably
is it the bronze?
It's something I never thought we'd ever get to. Let me say that. If you're looking for our website, thelastrowpodcast.com, on Twitter at thelastrowpod, facebook.com/thelastrowpod, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I think we got another 5-star review. Thank you to whoever left that. I really appreciate it. So does Badway. This is
don't
like
put words in my mouth, but you know.
This is like our hamster style 3.0. Like, this is another one that we've been talking about doing here for quite a while, but we just kind of didn't do it, and here we are, man. Here we are.
I mean, we love this movie so much that it was almost impossible to do, but here we are. The movie is Rockstar, Drew, 2001 Mark Wahlberg film, a drama / musical / metal movie.
It is a metal movie. Metal God.
Metal God. Directed by Stephen Herrick. IMDb 6.3 out of 10.
Too low.
Yeah, too low. Rotten Tomatoes 53%.
Too low.
That's too low. Metacritic 54.
Way too low.
Too low. What are they doing? Come on. What are they doing?
It's too low, man. Way too low.
A wannabe rock star who fronts a Pennsylvania-based tribute band is devastated when his bandmates kick him out of the group he founded. Things begin to look up for Izzy. Crizzy?
Chris?
Call me Chrissy. You call me Chrissy. When he's asked to join Steel Dragon, the heavy metal rockers he had been imitating for so long. This film is loosely based on the true story of the band Judas Priest.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like hints at Judas Priest throughout this. Rob Halford's outfit when he's at the audition. There's other things, and I think Judas Priest was consulted. There's a funny quote on IMDb. I won't even go into it, but it's someone from Judas Priest that basically said they were asked to consult and then they weren't consulted, and he basically gave a very backhanded compliment at the movie. He's like, it was all right, but I don't think I'd watch it again. Something like that. Did you see Clooney as the executive producer on this too, by the way?
I mean, this had to have been like the beginning of when he started dabbling in like producing movies or getting into filmmaking as other than being an actor, right?
I think it was. I forgot what the name of his production company was, but I've seen this movie a lot of times, and that was the first time I noticed his name on there. As dumb as it is for me to admit that, I never knew. Yeah,
I mean, we're not watching it for Clooney, but the director Stephen Herrick, not well known name wise, but I'll tell you a couple of movies that he did.
What else is on his resume?
Bill and Ted. He directed Bill and Ted, and he directed The Mighty Ducks.
All right,
and Mr. Holland's Opus.
That's a great movie.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then he did Rockstar, and then it kind of went downhill from there, Drew.
What's his latest?
Let's see. He's directing episodes of MacGyver.
All right. Hey man, network TV's got hired guns.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about it, Drew. That's all he's got.
You know what?
He directed Into the Blue 2: The Reef back in 2009.
That's a great colon. That's a great colon. That's a great colon. You know what is great though? What also is great? The freaking tagline for this movie, man.
Oh.
Best one that we've got so far. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say that.
Really?
The tagline for this movie, the story of a wannabe who got to be. Come on, man.
Go ahead, man. Put it on the poster. Slap it up. Flip it out.
Put that on my tombstone. I want that on my tombstone. Wow. The story of a wannabe who got to be.
All right.
Put that on my tombstone, man.
Beloved father, screw that. Beloved husband, get out of here. He was a wannabe you got to be.
What about the financials for this? Now, this critically, I mean, financially and critically, I guess it was a flop. It was 57 million. I don't really know if that was good or bad. You know, I know my gauge for this is kind of off, I guess, but it only had a cumulative return of about 20 million.
Yeah, and I saw that 17 of the 19 million was domestic.
Really?
So this thing did nothing overseas.
Why?
Nobody cared.
Why?
Nobody cared.
Because it's like, I guess you have Mark Wahlberg, and in 2001, Mark Wahlberg wasn't really that big of a star. Jennifer Aniston, though, was like peak famous there, wasn't she?
Yeah, yeah,
It
but
was like
still.
coming right off of Friends.
But TV shows versus movies, it's a different animal. But I will say that this was released on September 7th, 2001.
Right. The timing
So
is not
I
great.
feel like there's a lot of movies that kind of got, I would say railroaded by
the events of the time.
events of the time, and it kind of put a damper on movie going pretty much for that whole month plus.
Yeah.
I would say.
I saw this in the theater. I remember seeing it. I don't remember if I saw it on release day, but I saw it while it was out. And I remember being there, and like seeing this movie in the theater was a great way to watch it because the music, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But imagine that on, a theater sound system, it's pretty good.
G-Louse for sure.
It was pretty good. So one thing I'll say this, we're kind of going to talk about some of the characters, but Brad Pitt was initially signed on to play this lead role. I don't know if this had anything to do with him and Jennifer Aniston's relationship, because weren't they married at this time? I think.
I don't.
Is that
I don't
why
get
she
into,
was attached?
I don't get into the People magazine aspect of
I
the
don't know,
world, of
man.
the Hollywood world.
You're
Drew.
not on Us Weekly? Come on.
Yeah, but let's assume that they were. Right?
So I'll
Maybe
ask you.
Is that a wild rumor just because Aniston's attached?
No, I think it was like an actual thing.
Was
It's
it a
on
thing?
Wikipedia. It's on
Oh.
IMDb. It's pretty well. I don't know what the source is, but it was well known that I guess Brad Pitt was initially signed on to do this, and he left due to creative differences, and then Wahlberg was hired. Let me go out on a limb and just say this. I don't think this movie would have been as good with Brad Pitt as the lead. And I
No.
know that's blasphemous because Brad Pitt is obviously a very, very good actor.
No, yeah, and plus, you know what? Brad Pitt looks eternally 35 to me.
He does.
Even when he was younger, right? So this role needed kind of a baby face. And I know Mark Wahlberg doesn't look like the youngest person ever, but he at least has that clean shaven, clean cut. Put the long hair on him. It really kind of made him look younger. I think the look of the role was definitely more suited to Wahlberg than a Brad Pitt would.
Well, let's talk about Chris Cole. We'll start this whole thing with Chris Cole. So Mark Wahlberg plays a character named Chris Cole, who's this dude who's looking up to his favorite band ever. He's the lead singer of this tribute band.
Not a
Obviously,
not a
living at
cover
home.
band. Not
Not
a
a cover band, a tribute band. And the first time I saw this movie was the first time I really understood the difference between cover band and tribute band. They only play the tunes of the band
Yeah.
that they are tributing to, as opposed to other music.
Cover
But-
bands get you in the room just so you can play your crappy originals.
Yeah, and I'll say about Brad Pitt versus Mark Wahlberg. I think Wahlberg was perfectly cast in this role, and he plays kind of like a dorky but sort of cool guy who's like obsessed with this band. And I honestly say he nailed it, man. He nailed it. He nailed this role
So you got sort of cool out of him?
a little bit. Not when he was fixing the printer.
I got no cool out of him, Drew.
You got no cool.
He was a dork from scene one.
I mean, he was
but a
sort of.
lovable dork, a bit of a baby, a bit of a little bitch, but
That's one way to put it.
no cool.
So
But
you
that's
didn't
okay,
like him?
but
Did you like him?
I liked him, but he's definitely a psychopath.
Tell me more about what you think about him and his life, his obsession with the band. Like, what's your take on him, Chris Cole? Not Wahlberg, Chris Cole?
Well, he's a man-child, first and foremost. He's a man-child who doesn't have his own identity.
Got the tighty whities.
Yeah, who's living the life he was born to live. Cue
the riff.
Sorry. A lot of people are going to be very confused if they're not like well versed in the Steel Dragon songs.
I'm going to post
yeah.
for what it's worth. If you're not following us on Twitter right now, go on there at The Last Row Pod. If you're not following us on Instagram at The Last Row Pod, we're going to post a whole bunch of stuff from this movie so you know what we're talking about if you haven't seen it. It's also on Amazon Prime, I think, right now, so go watch it.
Yeah, and HBO Max. So yeah, he's a man child living, he's a grown adult baby man living in his parents' home. That's kind of like a foster house / daycare. There's a bunch of little kids running around. I don't know what's
kind
going
of
on
weird.
there, Drew.
Did you think he was adopted?
No, I just thought that like it was strange that they had like 7,000 kids. But I guess it's a daycare.
I think the mom runs a daycare. I think
the parents run a daycare. Yeah. So yeah, he's a printer salesman? Is he a tech guy?
I think he works at the
tech
office.
Tech support at an
He's
office.
like tech support. He's fixing people's
by day,
printers.
Tribute band for Steel Dragon, the biggest metal band in the world at that point in time by night. And he's basically a guy who has no identity, who's trying to emulate the lead singer, Bobby Beers, of Steel Dragon.
Great name.
A guy that he doesn't really know other than what he sees on posters and magazines and concerts, right?
Yeah. But I mean, have you ever done any of this in your life? Like, has there ever been something that you idolized? Not maybe to the degree that he did.
Was I ever in a tribute band?
Were you ever in a tribute fan?
I mean, when I had a Penny Hardaway jersey on, I used to slap it on all the time. I didn't think I was Penny Hardaway.
Did you want to be him? Did you want to be him?
Sure. Why? I mean, why wouldn't I? Of course. But I didn't strive. I didn't strive to become him. It was
you didn't
more
know
of
every detail of his life?
No, it was more of a wish thing than like an actual. You know what? I'm gonna get to work trying to be everything I can to be Penny Hardaway. No.
What did you think of his families? Because his brother,
Penny's?
No, Chris Cole. Chris Cole. You're gonna give me all the details of Penny Hardaway's family. So he says he doesn't know, but no, Chris Cole's family. So his brother's a cop. And I like the fake out with his thinking he got arrested when his brother came in to wrestle him in the room. But his brother's a cop. His parents are running this daycare. His parents are kind of awesome in a way.
Yeah, totally supportive of this loser's going nowhere lifestyle, right? I side with the brother. I side with the brother as much of a dick as he is.
Your brother listens to Air Supply. What are you going to talk about, man?
Yeah, he's lame. As lame as Mark Wahlberg is, his brother's even more lame.
I like the dynamic. It reminded me a lot of Ryan Reynolds and the guy from Girl Next Door in Just Friends. Like the dynamic between the brothers, like mom, they were calling for their mom, and they're like in their 30s. Clearly.
Yeah, just fighting each other. Yeah, totally.
But his dad was cool. We talk a lot about bad fathers on this podcast. Yeah. You mentioned the bad father barometer a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think it's the opposite of that. His dad was talking about dragon music. He clearly knows. Yeah. Like his parents are very supportive of his lifestyle. Yeah. Maybe you could argue it's bad. I don't know.
They probably realize, just like his girlfriend, that he has talent, right?
Yeah.
As like warped as his like mind is of like his identity crisis, he's obviously talented. Great singer. He's got pipes, Drew. He's got fantastic pipes.
I mean, his voice sounds like he should be in a band called Steelheart for literally. Like, let's talk a little bit about this tribute band that he's in. So he's living in his parents' house. He's working at this office job. You mentioned he's in this tribute band. The tribute band is called Blood Pollution, which is one of the Steel Dragon songs. Is that a thing for tribute bands? Like you're supposed to have the name of a song or an aspect of the band? Is that like a rule or an unwritten rule about a tribute band? I feel like
it's got to be a total unwritten rule that the name of the band has to be either a song or a lyric.
It's like a tribute to the band, right?
Yeah,
hence the tribute band.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like a blood sacrifice here, like just like a tribute to the band.
We pay tribute. Steel Panther.
So does he think, does he take this too seriously in your opinion? Because he's pretty into it.
I'm spitting on the mic, Drew. I'm spitting on the mic. Yeah. He takes it way too seriously to the point where he's bossing the band around, fighting with the band, not letting the band take creative liberties and AKA have fun with playing the music. Like how many concerts do you think they've gone through already where he's demanding perfection? You think they'd want to like mix it up a little bit, throw a squealy where there is no squealy, do a little extra riffage, add a solo or two,
I mean, no. It's a valid point. So I will ask you, like, do you think that he has a point, and does his demand for perfection get him to where he is? It's sort of like Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady is like getting mad at the guys for not doing stuff in practice, right? It's like, oh man, we're talking about practice. What are you talking about? But like, is he the Tom Brady of metal bands? Like, he's
I guess you're
just
right.
This guy that comes out of nowhere.
But like, he's only the one that knows that they're playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but they aren't. But like, in his mind, they are.
He's trying to get there.
Yeah, any day they're gonna, Steel Dragon's gonna come calling, right? It just so happens they actually did, but like it was by
They actually
total luck. But like 999,999 times out of a million,
Yeah.
you're not going to get anywhere just playing exact copies of other people's
It's
songs.
fair. But I mean, think about...
You're not going to get anywhere, yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, think about exactly what happened. If he wasn't given 110% at that concert, and that those girls with the shoulder cam that were taping directly to like the VHS tape, if they didn't capture his perfection and he was doing whatever, I mean, maybe it wasn't perfection because they got into the fight on stage.
Mm-hmm.
He would have never maybe made it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You talk about Tom Brady, though. Would Tom Brady have won any Super Bowls if Drew Bledsoe hadn't gotten concussed?
That's true. That's true. So
it took Bobby Beers quitting the band or getting fired from the band to even have that phone call. Otherwise, he would have been a joke in Pittsburgh the rest of his. All of a sudden, he's 40 years old, still living in his parents' house, and then maybe he'd get kicked out.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
He wasn't going anywhere. He's a great singer, but he has no motivation to write his own songs, Drew.
He's too afraid. Let's talk a little bit about his bandmates, because Tim Oliphant, obviously one of the best that we talk about on this show. He's a favorite of ours. I forgot what episode we did, but go back, listen to it. Girl Next Door. He plays
Episode
a perfect character in there. 16? Episode 16, The Girl Next Door, lastrowpodcast.com. I love Tim Oliphant in this movie, even though he's probably total screen time of 10 minutes?
10 minutes max. 10 minutes.
He's
some
such
great
a
lines.
great character.
Great
And
lines. Great facial expressions.
the master of the facial expression, but he plays, I guess it's the rhythm guitarist. He's the rhythm guitarist.
I got
in the band.
I got the sense that Cuddy is the lead guitarist, Drew. Even though Zach Wilde to us is a lead guitarist, he's got the charisma. He's like out in front.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Cuddy's a lead guitarist.
I don't know, man. Zach Wilde's out there doing all the solos. Kirk Cuddy's just standing there like a statue.
Cuddy was playing solos in the gig where they fight on stage. They fight because he's not playing the solo right.
Well, you're talking about Tim Oliphant, the Cuddy impersonator. You mean?
Yes.
Okay, well, he might have played the solo, but I didn't think it was him to play the solo. That's why Wahlberg got mad. But maybe I'm just misinterpreting.
No. He was supposed to play the solo. He just wasn't playing it to perfection.
Fair enough.
As is on the tape.
Maybe they're like, I don't know. Maybe it's like it's Avenged Sevenfold where you got two lead guitarists there, and you got the
it's
dueling
possible.
guitars.
But you think about it, when he unplugs his amp, it's just the bass line playing during the solo.
Well, let me ask you this,
and the rhythm.
And you brought this up. You hit the nail on the head here. Did he take it too seriously? And what would you have done? Because obviously there was this fight on stage. And if you haven't seen this movie, you're probably not going to know what the hell we're talking about. But basically, we'll set the scene up for you. Mark Wahlberg is obviously taking this way too seriously. And as Badway said, Tim Oliphant takes a little bit of liberties with the solo. And
he's trying to have a
good
good
goes
time.
all down.
He's just trying to have a good time.
Unplugging your dude's amp on stage, he's ruining the gig himself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's ruining the music.
Let me ask you this. What's worse? To not play the song to perfection, but still play it kind of good? Or to just completely cut the guitar out of the song?
I mean, I can
in
tell you what
Wahlberg's
Wahlberg
eyes,
wants.
I'm talking about in the perfectionist's eyes, is it better to have no guitar or half perfect guitar?
I think no guitar because there's no mistakes. It's just nothing. There's nothing. Like,
But it's an omission. It's
well,
a
like
complete
what he
omission.
said, right? Like, don't ruin my performance. Like, I'm not going to ruin yours. Don't ruin mine. Like, he'd rather hear silence than blasphemy. Like, it's blasphemy in his eyes. Like,
Silence over blasphemy.
He's ruining the song. Like, it's not perfection. And and what's actually cool is in this band. So everyone in this movie is actually some type of rocker from something, except for Tim Oliphant and Dominic West. But you had the drummer of Blood Pollution, which is this tribute band that he's in, is a guy from Slaughter. Then the guitarist is the other guitarist from Black Label Society. Then you've got the bassist, who's the singer from the Verve Pipe. Then you've got the replacement singer, which we'll get to in a second, Stephen Jenkins. Who's the Third Eye Blind singer, which is cool. They got a bunch of people in this movie.
People are in this movie, yeah. Industry professionals, man.
And you wouldn't really know who they are, but for the most part, they all looked like they knew what they were doing, except for Tim Oliphant and Dominic West.
Yeah, stage presence is a big thing, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, all
I think
these
it's
guys
good.
looked good.
it's better to have, you know, they don't have to act, right? They just have to like be in the movie. They have like almost no lines, all these people. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we can't leave this section without talking about Jennifer Aniston, who's his girlfriend / band manager. What do you think about her role in the movie? Maybe her as an actress. Like, I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the character? And did you think she was the manager first? Like, what was your take on her?
Yeah. So I don't know. I've probably seen this movie at least 10 times. I have a problem. I know this. It's bad.
Sounds like a good thing to me. You've seen this movie 10 times.
You and I might have most views ever for this movie. I mean, I'd love to see if someone else saw this more
We're
than
the
a dozen
top
times.
fans on Letterboxd.
Yeah, for sure.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. But every time I see this movie, I get more and more impressed by her performance. Like, she's the best actor in the movie, actress or
great.
whatever. Yeah, right. Like, she did a great job. It's a very, very believable job of, you know, from the beginning to, you know, leading this guy whose life is going nowhere, but he has super talent and she loves him, all the way to the point where he gets instant fame. She's with him to the point where she realizes this isn't for her. Like, she emotes all these emotions very well.
She hung on there pretty well. I mean, we'll get to the later part of the movie in a second, but I thought she hung in there for probably longer than most people would. I mean, she was in that car with the wives and girlfriends, and it was miserable, but she stuck with that for quite a long time there for him.
So, but yeah, like, as the band manager, she seemed to be doing a pretty good job, like keeping everybody in check, making sure the underwear is cut out when, you know, when you're wearing leather. You can't wear underwear and leather pants. You can't do it. I don't wear underwear on my leather pants.
See, I think you need to wear underwear and leather pants because could you imagine the swamp ass you're going to get?
Yeah, but the waistline, it's about the look. You got to be uncomfortable. It doesn't. You're already wearing leather pants. It's uncomfortable.
But can't you wear like low cut underwear or some type
like
of thing?
like a man thong?
Like, leather does not breathe. Let me tell you, like, leather does not breathe. Do you want that like ass sweat on there?
What if there was an underwear where the waistband starts at the shaft? You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about drooping regular sized underwear. I'm talking underwear cut specifically so it hugs the top of the shaft area.
So half of your butt crack is out?
Your butt crack is showing. So as to give off the illusion that you're not wearing underwear.
You know what that is? It's the equivalent of those socks, the no-show socks.
Yeah, exactly. The no-show socks, no-show underwear for men. So it's like a boxer brief style. So it's like you don't get the sweat buildup. But
you get some,
but it has the illusion that you're not wearing underwear at all, so you can wear leather pants and have the cool cut.
Because some of those socks, you've seen those socks where it's basically on your toe, like it's a toe sock. Yeah, it's not even on your heel at that point. Yeah. It's like the smallest thing ever.
But you got to show, like, they're not wearing shirts, Drew. When you know they have leather jackets on but no shirt. Yeah. So you, like, when you're wearing the leather pants with the low cutoff, you got to show the V. You know what I'm talking about? The pelvis V.
You get the V.
You have to show the V.
You got the V.
Yeah.
Well, I think another reason why
some call them
Wahlberg,
sex lines, Drew. I don't know where you come from. You call them sex
some
lines.
would call that. Some would call that. I think Wahlberg was cast in this movie specifically for his abs because the character had the leather jacket with no shirt on underneath the whole time, and he was ripped. I mean, Wahlberg's obviously famously known for being ripped, and I wonder if another actor was the actor for this, would they have had the same outfit or was it designed around him? But I'm still going on the record by, look, I don't own leather pants. I've never worn them, but I cannot imagine that wearing like those with no underwear is not going to be just making you feel like you're swimming in those.
Telling you, man, my invention. What do they call them? I don't know.
it's nasty. So what do you think of like the getting back to the bands here? What do you think of the rivalry between Blood Pollution and Black Babylon, which is that other band?
Can I tell you, right off the bat, Black Babylon, terrible name.
They're pretty bad.
Terrible name. We don't get to hear Black Babylon, what the song sounds like. We hear it referenced a few times. It's Mark Wahlberg's dad's favorite song in the movie.
It's the unicorn of the movie. I wish I could hear that song.
Yeah. But I think they should have gone with Wasted Generation, Drew.
Wasted Generation
as a band name.
As a band name is perfection.
Yeah.
It's perfection. It's so good, and they really missed an opportunity there.
And Blood Pollution, obviously. They must have wanted Blood Pollution, but it was taken already.
That's a great name too. But I think
you
I
can't
actually would
go wrong.
argue Wasted
Can't go wrong.
Generation's a better name.
Might be.
That.
I don't know. I'd have to wear it out and try a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about the band that they're tributing, right? We'll talk a little bit about his tributing
the tributees or the tributors.
All the blood sacrifice that the blood pollution sacrifice that they're doing. Steel Dragon. Is there an equivalent of who this band is? Because this is obviously in the 80s. Like, who would you put them up against? Is it like Ozzy?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously Judas Priest because it's quote unquote loosely based. I don't know how true that is.
It doesn't sound like
is
them,
it confirmed true?
It's confirmed
that it is based on Judas Priest.
It's something similar happened in Judas Priest. There was somebody that when Rob Halford left the band, they had somebody come in there, but the voices are not the same.
No,
obviously
but
that doesn't matter. But
I think maybe like level of popularity.
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. It could be them, but I think about like bands like Metallica. Like obviously Metallica is bigger than them. I think Metallica obviously stood the test of time too. Not that Judas Priest hasn't, but it's a different level. I think.
Maybe Poison. Maybe Motley
Crue, maybe.
Yeah, those types. Yep.
I guess Rat. Even though Cuddy makes a joke about them.
I don't want to call them hair metal because they're not hair metal.
They're sort of like you're right. It's not hair.
It's
metal.
almost like generic. Like it's like. Not generic, but it's like rock and roll metal.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's arena metal.
It's arena rock.
It's arena, but it's not arena rock because arena rock is kind of bland sometimes.
Yeah.
Arena metal.
I mean, we could go through all the genres and subgenres of like industrial metal, sludge metal, competitive sheet metal.
I mean, this is what we talk about when we're not podcasting. You guys.
We talk a lot
about different kinds of metal.
Subgenres of metal.
It's true. I'm sorry. Look at our.
I don't know what
it's
subgenre they are. Yeah. You're right, though. They are kind of generic.
It's like arena
rock.
metal because it's not really generic rock. It's like arena, but they're definitely metal.
But what do you think of them? So I'm going to go on the record and say this is one of the greatest fictional bands of all time, in my opinion.
Dude, like how do you even like begin to like? We all die young, Drew. I mean,
just they have hit after hit after hit, and I get that they didn't stand a test of time into the grunge era there, like most of the bands from this era. But their songs were like they were all hits. They were all good. Every single song that we heard was awesome.
As pathetic as Mark Wahlberg's character is in this movie about like trying to be someone he's not. I mean, I get it. I guess because it's this band. They're trying to be Steel Dragon. Like I get it.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and the interesting thing, so we joked about Wahlberg having the voice of Steelheart. There is actually, Wahlberg's singing voice in this movie is the front man from the band Steelheart. Bobby Beer's singing voice is the front man from Talisman, Yngwie Malmsteen. The drummer is ex-Foreigner drummer. He's the son of the Led Zeppelin drummer, Jason Bonham. And then obviously Goat is Zakk Wylde, which I think if you're a fan of metal, you know who that is.
You know who Zakk Wylde is.
And then Jeff Pilson is the bassist, who's also a famous musician. I think he's from Dokken. I always pronounce that wrong. Dokken.
It was Dokken. Yep.
But basically that was the rundown of the band members. But I thought each one had a different personality, which I thought was kind of cool. And my favorite of all of them was obviously Zakk Wylde because of his power stance and just the hair, that awesome tattoo of like the spine of his arm was just awesome.
But Drew, of the non-musicians, so you left out Kirk Cuddy.
Yeah, Kirk Cuddy. Sorry, I forgot to
who was played by Dominic West. Which, by the way, I'm like neck deep in The Wire right now. I've been watching The Wire, and
he's great.
Just seeing Dominic West with a ridiculous wig on is just it made me laugh for 90 minutes.
I mean, the hair
so ridiculous.
Is ridiculous. And the funny thing is, like, I was imagining that being your real hair. Yeah. And, knowing how crazy these guys are. I mean, they're on a tour bus. They're drinking, smoking, snorting, shooting up probably. Whatever they're doing.
Man,
they're doing a lot of
aren't
stuff.
They? Oh, geez.
They're doing a lot of stuff. Unless you're Bobby Beers, because he's in bed by 11:30.
Yeah, in bed. Drugs. I never touch the stuff.
But, I mean, looking at it objectively, how do you keep your hair that nice? Is it a wig?
He must have a hair guy or a hair girl.
I mean, we got Cuddy. Cuddy obviously was doing something right. It was a wig. It had to be a wig, right?
It had to have been a wig. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we know the actor was wearing
Yeah.
a wig, but
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, man, what a pain in your ass to have to take care of that hair all the time. Like,
But it looks so good, though. I mean,
it did. It was pretty
whatever
awesome.
work it takes, it must be worth it. So I got 2 questions. Well, actually, 2 comments. First about Kurt Cuddy before we move on. I want and I love his little like jacket.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call that? His like his uniform that, when he plays. It's like
I think Tim Oliphant called it a cape. I think.
yeah, because it's like a robe kind of.
It's
like,
a robe.
Yeah,
cape,
it's a
trench
long
coat
sleeve like open shirt that goes down to his ankles
with
basically.
like gloves.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what material it is. It looks very comfortable, like a cloth or like a. It's probably not cotton. It's probably something more
At first, I
expensive
thought
and
it was
cooler than cotton.
chainmail. It looked like it was supposed to be chainmail. I'm like, man, this guy looks like
It might be part chainmail, like the arms might be. If not, I'm thinking back on it. I have to look at it again.
Go on our Instagram and all these sites that I told you. We're gonna post some of these pictures because it's hard to describe it without you knowing what it looks like.
Like if I could buy that for like, I don't know, $500, I might.
You would wear that?
I might buy
man,
it just to
the
wear around
Golden
the
Closet.
house.
I wish the Golden Closet didn't
Yeah.
go out of business because I feel like that's the type of thing you could get on there.
Yeah.
Kirk Cuddy's like jacket, trench coat, chainmail robe.
I
It's
mean-
absolutely ridiculous.
I want to wear that thing.
It's like, but speaking of that, right? You called it his uniform.
Yeah.
Is it weird to you that they wear the same exact thing every concert?
Is
I
that
was
is that
thinking
an
that.
80s thing? I don't know.
I don't think it was because
Like, did
go back
Van
and look-
Halen wear like no?
No.
Because what's his name? Jeez, blanking on.
Eddie Van Halen.
No, not him. David Lee Roth, you asshole. Man, what's that guy on Van Halen's name? You know, the famous one, Eddie Van Halen.
Oh,
I mean-
it's like 3 a.m. right now.
Man, it's like 7 a.m.
Eddie Van Halen.
I'm pretty dumb, Drew, but I'm not that dumb. No, but I feel bad for forgetting David Lee Roth's name for
Well,
a
it's
minute.
not Sammy Hagar, but
Not
it's
Hagar. Van
Van
Hagar.
Hagar.
No, because David Lee Roth, he wore different ridiculous jumpsuits every concert. So he wasn't wearing the same thing. Like, yeah, I don't think, probably very few, if any, bands had like a standard uniform.
Well, it's like, the Nickelodeon Doug Funny. You open the closet and he's got the same outfit
Yeah.
every. Like, I don't know, unless they just never changed and they just smell like hell. They never changed their outfit, but they did because at the night they wore like suits and stuff when they went to the club. Like maybe they literally just have one outfit.
Yeah, it's not like they're wearing that stuff on the town, Drew. I mean, it's
I
well
get that it's like their
documented.
signature thing,
Yeah.
and it makes sense that that's the case.
I like it.
But
I like it though. Like if
yeah.
more bands did that, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool gimmick.
I was wondering that the whole time we were watching. I'm like, is it weird to you that they're wearing the same thing?
I kind
the
of liked
whole
it.
time?
No, I kind of liked it.
At least you know what to
Yeah.
expect. Like
Yeah.
you're meeting your expectations.
If they didn't have those outfits, then like the tribute band, it'd be less fanatical because they wouldn't
Yeah.
have to like dress like them and look
That's
like
fair.
them and spend $1,000 on a jacket that you think is some father's drummer tech's
Yeah.
dad sold it to you.
Your dad got ripped off, man.
I'm sorry to say, but your dad got ripped off.
What was your second question? You said you had a second one.
Oh, total non sequitur. We were talking about the bus, right? The tour bus that the no wives are allowed on, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's well implied that there's a lot of sexing going on in that bus. Like,
Oh yeah.
is it
Take
just
a black
like,
light to that bus.
is
You
it
don't want
is
to.
it just like one big orgy? Like, I there's very little privacy, Drew.
Hey,
so, like,
man,
Are they just banging all over the bus with everyone?
These
Like, what's
guys-
going on here?
these guys have known each other for quite a while. I'm sure that they're okay being in the same room
Okay.
in those moments.
Oh, so
but
it's no big deal.
I would think it's a no big deal type of thing for them.
Yeah.
Not
we gotta,
saying
yeah,
for
because
us.
we gotta look into the tour bus, and there is no privacy. There's no private
No,
bedrooms.
it's just one
There's
big
There's
room.
one back room. Do people take turns going in the back room?
Probably.
Ah,
mean, I think, well, they're all doing drugs back there, right?
Yeah.
And Wahlberg said he was going to get his own car at one point. But I think, my guess is they're all back there together, is my guess.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their songs, because you listed out their songs in the notes, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but there's some good songs here. What is your take on this? Because the soundtrack for this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So I broke it down to the 6 songs that are most well known from this movie that they play a good chunk of in the movie. And I just want to get your take on maybe if you want to rank them, or if one is not as good as the other, or if one doesn't belong, you let me know. So we got Living the Life.
Great
We
song.
All Die Young.
Amazing song.
Amazing song. Blood Pollution.
Very good.
Stand Up, parentheses, and Shout.
I like when a song does that.
Yeah. Wasted Generation, parentheses, We Are. and,
So good.
and Long Live Rock and Roll. So I have little notes of what I feel each song does well. And I want to see if you agree with me or not.
Okay.
And
Hit
maybe
me up.
if you don't agree, you can undercut it.
All right.
So Living the Life has the best riff of the entire grouping there, I believe. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I can't challenge you on that. There's some other really good riffs, but it probably is by and large the best riff.
It's a getting somewhere riff. It's a
it's
going
chugging,
somewhere.
man.
It's a chug-a-lug, getting somewhere, going somewhere riff.
Put the hard hat on. He's doing work.
I don't know if this will play over airways, but it goes like a. It reminds me of a Motley Crue riff.
It's a moving riff.
Yeah.
Like it's going somewhere, like you said.
Yeah,
I agree
a
with
fast
that.
song. Boom, boom, boom. We All Die Young, I think, is not only the best song of the band, but it should be a Monster Radio hit smash.
Well,
And it's crazy that it wasn't. And it
well, the
isn't.
band Steelheart obviously made this song. They did make this song. I think it was 96 or 95. I forgot the exact year. Why this was not bigger is beyond my understanding. This song is so good. It's such a ballad, man. And it rocks, but it also moves you.
Yeah.
Like that audition scene, I got goosebumps,
Yeah.
man.
One of the best scenes in movie history. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I've seen this movie 30 times. You have too.
It's so good.
I mean, obviously we're biased, but you talk about we don't normally swear on this podcast, Drew. But
Should I get the beep button ready?
he f***ing nailed that audition, Drew. We All Die Young. Like, I'd give him a job, any job, if he came in there with that kind of bravado, singing that song
Yeah.
like that.
He did.
You know,
He did. He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it.
it was a goose pimply scene. You know, it might even bring a tear to your eye if you're in the right mood. Like the song, like the lyrics are moving. It's just a well written song. So that best overall song, but more specifically, best lyrics and best vocals.
I definitely agree with that,
Yeah.
100%. I can't say anything different.
Blood Pollution is just, I wrote overall just nasty.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
you know,
they
the
named
metal
their band
face?
after it.
You know,
Yeah.
the metal face? It's like, it makes you get the middle face.
You're like disgusted.
Give
Like,
me
that's how good
blood.
it is.
Give me blood.
It's
Give
so
me
good.
blood. We're talking blood pollution. Come on. So good.
I mean, they named their band after it. That's
Yeah.
how good it is.
Yeah. Stand Up and Shout, which I believe that's to me, that's track one. It's track one. You open the album with Stand Up.
I don't know if people know. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but we have a theory in our friendship here that if you're trying to listen to a new album, just go to track 3. Like you listen to a new album, whatever it is, track 3 is the one. If
It'll
that's
tell
not
you all
good,
you
then
need
move
to
on.
know.
Just move on. And if it's awesome, you're gonna love the whole album.
So what's
I
track
don't know.
3 in this one? So wait, let me go back. Let me do the last two and then we'll go back to it. So anyway, I've Stand Up as the best solo. It has other things going for it, but it has the best solo. I can't replicate that. It would just sound like nonsense through a microphone. But trust me on that. Wasted Generation, I thought was the weakest. It's kind of generic.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I really like that. I think it's a great. I actually really like it a lot.
Okay.
I don't know.
Totally
it has a lot of
disagree.
like crowd callbacks, and that's awesome to me.
It has a call and response. So, okay, I'm gonna be the guy, and you're the crowd. Okay, we are the wasted
Generation. And it's like you got the back and forth is awesome. It's really good.
So,
I like it.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of generic. And then Long Live Rock and Roll, which I call it meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
And that's one step above generic. To where it's like it's a no nonsense rock song. It's there to get you going, but it's not breaking any new ground.
I think it's good. I like that song.
It's a good
lot.
song. No, I'm not trying to bash it at all.
I'll tell you what track 3 is. Track 3 literally on the actual movie soundtrack
Yeah.
is Wild Side by Motley Crue. So it's not that.
That doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Track
We're only
4,
talking Steel Dragon songs.
So I'll tell you. So track 1 is an Everclear song. Track 2 is a Steel Dragon Living the Life, which makes sense because that would be like, to me, opening.
Yeah.
But actual track 4 on the album is We All Die Young. And I think that's track 3.
Yeah.
I think that's track 3.
I don't think, We All Die Young it breaks the rules of track 3 being the best song, because while I agree We All Die Young is the best song, it's not a track 3 song because it's slower. It's a monster ballad. So it belongs like later in the album, like maybe 6.
All right, 6.
Maybe even 10 of a 12-track album.
That's actually fair.
10
That's
of 12.
Fair.
That's where the monster ballad goes. It's either going to be 6 or 10.
That's pretty good.
So
it's true.
This is what you get. I mean, you guys don't know the type of music we listen to.
When you saw we were going to do Rockstar, I bet you didn't understand. You didn't think you were getting the breakdown of the.
I don't know what kind of music you guys thought we liked.
Steel Dragon discography here.
Yeah, we're totally into the Steel Dragon metal. Track 3 has got to be Blood Pollution for me.
All right, I can get behind that. I can get behind it.
So
I can get behind it.
Track 1, Stand Up and Shout. Track 2, Long Live Rock and Roll. Track 3, Blood Pollution.
Yeah, I think that
album.
could work for me.
Yeah.
I liked your theory about track 10 of a 12-track album for We All
gotta
Die
be 12
Young.
tracks, yeah.
Yeah, 12 is,
Yeah.
I think that would be maybe track 10. I'm going with you on that. So
because the album's kind of like maybe track 7, 8, 9 are lulls a little bit. Maybe an album's losing steam because maybe if you have filler, that's where you put it, and then you want to close strong. So then 10 will be your ballad.
Yeah.
11 is just another rockin' song, and then 12 is your epic finale.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, we only really heard 6 of their songs of whatever they've been doing forever.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it, 6 or 7? And at the end of the day, we heard one sort of like new metal cut type kind of song where he's like rap rocking. And when you listen to this, we don't know if these are all from the same album. You know, are these from Black Babylon? Are they not? Like, are they older? Are they carrying them along as they go?
Are they from Lubrication?
We don't know. We don't know.
The other album that they mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know how many albums they have, but I got the impression that they've been around for quite a while here.
Yeah.
So
if this is one of their albums, these 6 songs, then I mean, come on, best album of all time.
It's pretty good.
What else is on that album, Drew? I need more.
Well, they sort of played 10 to 15 second clips of some songs, and I want more of it. I need more. To know.
I need more.
And this is like a real life supergroup when you look at all the people that actually wrote this music. There's a bunch of people. If go on IMDb, you can see who wrote it.
Dio
wrote
one.
These songs.
Sammy Hagar wrote one. I can't think of which ones.
And Wild was involved in some of these too. Zach Wild. Like there's some actual like rock artists that wrote a lot of these songs.
One of the songs, the dude from Marilyn Manson, I think his name's Twiggy.
Yeah.
He wrote one of them. So yeah.
There was a lot of talent that was involved in writing some of this
His name's
stuff.
probably not Twiggy. I don't know. I'm not a big Marilyn Manson fan. I don't give a shit about Marilyn Manson. Scumbag anyway.
There you go. I can't get behind it. The shirt has too much of a graphic on it. I can't.
I mean, the guitarist is fine. Twiggy, Twinsy, whatever his name is.
Twiggy.
Yeah, but
let's talk about Wahlberg. We've gone on about Steel Dragon. Let's talk a little bit about Wahlberg, and we'll kind of close out the back half of this here. But we've got Wahlberg. Obviously, is in this tribute band. He gets discovered, as we talked about. I want to talk about his rise to fame because there's a couple key things here between his rise to fame and just the downfall of him. You mentioned that audition scene. I want to talk to you a little bit about meeting your hero because Mark Wahlberg, Chris Cole, whoever you want to call him, right?
We always have a problem on this show of deciding if we want to call the characters by their names or their real actor names. This happens every episode.
And probably people are like, what the hell?
And it's not you, it's me, it's both of us. It's not just you.
I'm going to call him Mark Wahlberg and maybe Crizzy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like Crizzy. I like Crizzy.
You call me Crizzy.
You can call me Crizzy now.
As it goes along. But he goes and he gets his shot. Like he gets a ticket out. He didn't believe that Kirk Cuddy was on the phone, which was hilarious to me. And like the dedication of him, he sent his dog. His dog died and he sent him flowers.
I didn't get a response, but I figured you were busy.
Remember when I said he was kind of cool?
Yeah.
No. Take that back.
Take it back, please.
But he goes to this audition. His world was shattered when he thought he knew everything about Bobby Beers, and he finds out not only his Bobby Beers wear, a wig.
Yeah, his hair's fake. Yeah.
He has a boyfriend, which is different because he thought he was dating the girl in the band.
Yep.
He's got Stand Up and Shout is about basically coming out, I think, was like just very different than what he expected.
Yeah.
Like, how would you act if you watched basically your band, your favorite band of all time break up in front of you?
Oh, man.
It wasn't a breakup, but.
Yeah, but and with Bobby Beers being his hero, and it's not the fact that Bobby Beers is homosexual. That's not the issue. It's that he was emulating a guy who he had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, I feel like he had this mind blown, like out of body experience, like right in front of him there.
Well, because he thought he knew everything about this person,
Yeah.
and
he was a super
wrong.
fan. He knew everything about Bobby Beers, and it turned out he knew nothing.
Yeah,
He
and
knew nothing.
well, the thing that I liked, and it doesn't seem like Bobby Beers was a bad person. I think basically he wasn't playing along with these guys, and I guess he was showing up late for gigs or whatever. But we don't know the real story. We don't really know.
But like, why was he showing up late for gigs and missing gigs?
I don't know. What
And
was
then
he doing?
when he showed up, Drew, his attitude,
His attitude.
his attitude, Drew.
But can you blame him because maybe he wanted to have some creative control in the band, and at the end of it,
and then AC and Kirk write the songs.
they say they write the
Yeah.
songs, and Bobby Beers obviously was very talented. They were able to replace him, relatively easily, I guess, for at
Very
least
easily.
for at least the tour,
Yeah.
for at least one tour. But
Yeah.
that whole scene to me was like I kept thinking about what if I was in this guy's shoes,
Yeah.
and
Who, Chrissy?
yeah, Chrissy, Mark Wahlberg, and you're just watching this band that you thought you knew everything about just come crashing down in front of you,
Like-
and then having to do an audition.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Like, you remember the documentary from Metallica, Some Kind of Monster?
yeah.
Like, imagine if you were the biggest Metallica fan and then you were like, won a contest and you got to watch them record, what was it?
Some Kind of Monster.
Saint Anger. Saint Anger.
Saint Anger was
the album was Saint
album.
Anger. And then, like, all it is like, oh man, James Hetfield's an alcoholic and they can't get along, and Lars is a real dick.
Kirk
It's like-
Hammett's just like a nice guy. Like, come on, guys,
and
let's
it's like,
get along.
and like they're about to break up, and like, and you're like, oh, sorry, okay, hey guys,
Thanks for letting me win this contest.
thanks for letting me in here. Should I go now?
Exactly. So awkward. And
Yeah.
but then put yourself in his shoes, right? Biggest shot of your life. He's got to go audition then. He didn't even really
Yeah.
know why he was coming out there. They didn't know. They didn't tell him.
No,
Like what would you have done? Would you have nailed it? Like if you had the talent, could he have put it all together?
well, like he could have choked, but that's what he was like. You talked about him being the Tom Brady phenomenon, but like that's why he was so painstakingly perfect.
Yeah.
It was for
Drew
that
Bledsoe
moment.
got hurt, man.
It was for that moment that was never going to come, but Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Bobby Beers gets kicked out, and
Yep.
then he gets his chance. He gets put in. He wins
Yeah.
the Super Bowl. It's crazy to me. What do you think of the whole audition itself? Because that scene, like you said
Yeah.
earlier, was just an iconic scene to me.
It's the perfect song to like do it to. And then I like that he stumbled a few times. But my question to you is, how many times could he have stumbled through the beginning before they were like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
You
Next.
missed your cue, mate.
Yeah. Like maybe one more time.
Probably,
Like,
but he nailed it.
He doesn't get 5 chances, does he? Like
Their faces as
he screwed up
sang
twice.
that,
Yeah.
they knew though, man. They knew.
No,
They
but-
saw the talent.
I know, but no, he screwed up twice though before he started
Fair
going.
enough.
So like how many times could he have screwed up? Like, you know how you're playing guitar and you don't know how to play guitar? Or it's like you play 2 notes, you're like, wait a minute. All right. And then you play 3 notes, you're like, oh, then you screw up, like, wait a minute. And
Yeah.
you keep starting over because you can't play it. Like how many times could he have like, can we play it from the top one more time? Like I feel like 5 and he would have been kicked out.
I'm just imagining the famous Fred Durst guitar song on YouTube. Where it's like, oh, hold on a second, guys. I know how to do this. Like, so obviously he wins this audition. He becomes the singer of his favorite band.
You want the gig
And
then?
He's living life, man. He's living
the
life.
life I was born to live.
He was.
I'm
I'm trying not to go plot by plot here, but it's hard not to for this.
No,
because
this is a equals B equals C kind of movie.
there really are some major points. And the other big thing I want to talk to you a little bit before we talk about his downfall is just his debut as the singer. He's got to go to his concert. I don't know how much time passed between when he won the gig and basically when he had this actual performance, but
I think it was like tops a few weeks.
walk me through what would be going through your mind, because that's like a dream come true, right? He even gives the
Yeah.
speech in the movie, like, this is a dream come true, man.
Like, he knows the set. Like, he knows he's got to go up the elevator and he's got to go down. Like, he was at the concert like a month ago.
Did he
when it was in
even need to
Pittsburgh.
practice? He knew all the songs.
Yeah. He knew the song. Like, he knew it. He knew, like, he knows all the mannerisms. But when you get up there and it's a sea of people versus, 100 people in a club, right?
That's what you call, it just got real.
Yeah. This is your moment. And then he falls. And if it were me, Drew, I would have that would have been it.
It's over. You're done.
I would have slunk out.
You're like,
I would have slunk right out.
well, this was fun. See you guys.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry.
I mean, so I read something trivia about this. They filmed this in front of, I think, 10,000 Metallica and Megadeth fans. So it was like an actual concert. And when he fell, the audience didn't know that was going to happen. So the reaction of the audience was actually real. Like, they didn't know he was supposed to fall.
Oh, that's
and,
awesome.
I thought his recovery was awesome.
Yeah.
He nailed that gig, man.
And then he did the line. Yeah, and like he did it with pain in his voice, and it made it so much more real. Like, it was great. It was like probably the best acting performance of Mark Wahlberg's career right there.
What did you think of his way that he handled the Bobby Beers fans with the hose that he
Where he
used?
pissed on him?
Yeah, basically.
Do you know they blur that out when they play that movie on like VH1 or whatever?
Are you serious?
They blur out the hose scene because it's like mimicking him peeing on them.
Well,
I always
think
thought it was kind of funny.
I liked it, actually. I thought it was
It's a great move. Good harmless fun, Drew. Good harmless fun.
So obviously a lot of things happen between when he gives his first gig and he goes on tour. We don't have to get into all that.
The orgy star. It gets weird between him and Jennifer Aniston.
It's just weird, you know? And he's starting to learn about this life that he's idolized for quite a while. He's we said it before, he's living the life he was born to live. And Jennifer Aniston is tagging along with him throughout this whole movie. You know, she's pretty good, like the fact that she was going to deal with that, but obviously it's a tough situation. Like, did you feel like it was over between them the second he got famous?
Yeah,
it's like almost doomed to fail.
Yeah, because she was not one of the other wives, right? Clearly.
I mean, she was like obviously a pretty savvy businesswoman.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing with him, helping him manage his other band.
She's not a bus tracer. She's not a bus chaser.
She wasn't. I mean, she definitely had more respect. Like, they showed a lot of the groupies and the type of people that were chasing after the band, trying to hook up with them. There was a whole bunch of scenes with that. Yeah. But I felt like, man, this kind of sucks for them because he's got his dream. Yeah. It wasn't that they weren't meant to be, but...
Yeah, you can't blame either one of them. It's like...
Right.
You can't blame him for following his dream, and you can't blame her for not wanting to live in the shadow of someone else's life.
Right.
Right?
And the more that the movie goes on, and, you know, we get to kind of the start of his downfall, you start to see, like, it's just not going to work out with them. And it sucks. It's like you almost feel bad in a way. Like, I actually did kind of feel bad because it's like he's living his dream. She doesn't want him to not live his dream. She wants that for him. Yeah. But it's just this life is not what he expected, where it really is. And he didn't take Bobby Beer's advice. He was not in bed by 11:30.
No, he was not in bed by 11:30.
He was not foregoing the drugs.
He was touching the drugs.
He was not resting his voice or whatever Bobby Beers told him to do. He was completely just knee deep in all of the drugs, in all of the sex, in all the everything that was going on. And it starts to fall apart. Like, where do you think it starts to fall apart for him? Is there a moment you could put it on?
Probably the second she left.
Yeah. Right? Like, he just went in this spiral.
Yeah.
And I think when you think about the real downfall, he obviously goes through this tour. He's all completely strung out the whole time. Then they go on like a break, I guess, because it's the end of the tour.
It's like a 2-month break. Yeah, a month or two.
Some type of break.
Yeah.
He comes back to Kurt Cuddy's mansion, and he's got a backpack full of songs. He finally decided to put his heart into writing something that came from himself instead of trying to sing these cover band, right? He's in a cover band.
He's still in a cover band.
It's
just he's playing with the band.
He's covering their songs for them.
For them, with them.
Which one thing I forgot to say earlier was after the first gig, when he was so excited about it, he was like, "It's amazing to hear the songs played to their perfection." Like, were they actually played to perfection? Because these guys sometimes, like, they get so lazy, they're just like, whatever.
I don't know, man. That drummer's got an IV in him. Like, I'm sure that he's
getting dialysis.
I'm sure that he's not 100%.
But he shows up to this mansion. He's got these books, I guess, of art that he was trying to pitch
Yeah,
to
he
them.
did cover art, which looked like a Led Zeppelin ripoff. I wasn't going to say anything. He brought it up.
Like, was Cuddy like, oh, that's cute. That's cute.
The word is cute. The smirk on his face said, "Oh, that's adorable. Look what he did."
Was he offended that he wrote it? Was he just like, man, this guy doesn't get it? Like, what was going through his head? Like, I wasn't sure how to take it. Was he offended?
Oh yeah, it's dismissal. It's total dismissal, and just not taking him seriously. Like, look at this kid; he has no idea.
And this is the moment I think where Wahlberg really realizes, like, he showed up. He had an eyebrow piercing. They were like, dude, you got to clear that with us before you get that done, because clearly it changed from the uniform. He's got to wear the uniform, and. He's got these songs. They didn't even listen to him. They basically threw it away. They said AC and I write the songs.
At least Zach Wilde at least took it.
The other guy should like throw it in
he
the
reached his
garbage.
hand out and at least took it. He was gonna at least he's a nice guy about
The
it.
bassist too. The bassist was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, he's just trying to get along, man. He's the Kirk Hammett of the group.
Yeah, he was like,
He just wants everybody to get along.
yeah, he didn't want to make any waves.
I don't know.
He knew it was
man.
bullshit, but he wasn't gonna say anything.
I kind of felt bad for him in that moment, but you could see it on his
Yeah.
face. He knew, like, this sucks. Like, I'm still in a cover band. I'm in a tribute band here. That's basically how it seemed like he felt. And then they made him sing some type of band. So the riff was pretty nasty. I'll give it to him. The riff for the new song.
I wanted to hear where that song went.
It was sort of rap rock, but did he invent new metal there? Sort of.
Yeah, he kind of did. He starts rapping and changing the lyrics. Now the lyrics were bad to begin with. Thank you very much, Kurt Cuddy. Not your best effort, but Wahlberg made it embarrassing and like almost like a mockery of the hip hop game.
It was pretty bad. No, I mean, maybe this is the beginning of the band's downfall because I don't think that was their best work. But this is definitely the beginning of the end. He starts to have this heart-to-heart with Mats, who we didn't even talk about, but Mats is underratedly one of the best characters in this whole movie.
So yeah, Matt's a scumbag.
But he's a lovable scumbag.
He's a lovable scumbag. So can I like skip back way back since you brought Mats up? I had a burning question about Mats. So after Wahlberg's first gig with the band, they're out with Jennifer Aniston and the parents, and everybody's out at the club, basically doing drugs, getting drunk, all that stuff. So there's a point where he walks up to Jennifer Aniston and goes, "Hey, listen, it's all in good fun. We're all having a good time here. If you can have a good time too, just let me know." Was he implying that she should get with him, or what? Or did he take it? Was he saying, "I can get you whatever you want. Just come get me. Let me know"?
I think it was both, actually.
Was he shooting a shot?
I think it was both because he was taking a shot because why not?
Yeah.
And two, it was, his job is to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
So he knew that if she was unhappy, it might not go well for Mark Wahlberg's character. Yeah. So I think he was kind of letting her know at the time, like, hey, he's probably going to be off on the side doing stuff. And you can do it too. And why not try himself?
I agree. And by the way, when they were in Seattle and Jennifer Aniston came to visit Chrissy, and like that's when she knew that he was a mess, and he was not Chris anymore. It really was Matt's fault that he didn't remind Mark Wahlberg that they're in Seattle and he needs to meet his girlfriend. Yeah,
it was, but
I know that he half-heartedly blames him, and then Jennifer Aniston like yells at him for blaming Matt's. But honestly, it's Matt's fault. He's got to get on that.
If you're the band manager, you gotta. He's got to
be on top of that. He has to be on top of that.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. But Wahlberg's also a scumbag for forgetting as well.
Oh yes,
so strong.
Clearly, but he could have been sober had the band manager done his job.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think of the conversations that they had that heart to heart where, and this is towards the end of the movie, he clearly tells him a story about how he walked out on his. It was a girlfriend, I guess.
No, he was married.
He was married.
The story is nuts.
He walked out.
Tell the story. Tell the story, Drew.
So he's basically at this restaurant. He's telling the story about how he had this great wife. I thought for some reason it was a girlfriend, but I misremembered.
No, he tells him, I was married once.
That's right. You're right. You're right. So he has a wife. He's at a restaurant, and he goes to the bathroom, and he tells her, "I have to take a piss," and he goes to the bathroom. And he's in the bathroom staring at the wall, and he tells everybody that he's thinking about his life, and he's thinking about basically working a dead end job, just having the same thing every day. And I think his life flashed before his eyes. And in that moment, he walks out of the bathroom and he just walks out of the restaurant.
Unbelievable.
And he never went back.
Imagine leaving someone like that.
And you're married to them. And
Yeah.
it's like one of the worst things you could possibly do. And this
Like-
is in the 80s. There's no cell phones. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Like, so he disappeared.
You know what she did? She probably put a missing persons out on him.
Well,
She probably called the police. She probably thought he died
it's pretty bad. Well,
until she saw him on MTV one day with Steel
Yeah.
Dragon.
like, what's this guy doing over here? I mean, you know what? And she traded up because she married his best friend.
Yeah.
He tells a story about how she has a beautiful family now. She's got kids.
Mhm.
Do you get the impression that he regretted it? Or he realized that it was the wrong way to do the right thing for
No.
him?
I think the conversation started with Wahlberg saying he owes some guy named Rob in Pittsburgh an apology.
Which is Timothy Oliphant's character.
And then Matz says everybody owes somebody an apology. That's life. And then he gets into the story about how he owed his wife an apology.
But I guess my point is, does he really think he owed her an apology, or is he kind of thinking like, again, maybe it was the wrong thing, the wrong way to do the right thing for him is kind of what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like
Yeah.
he felt like, maybe that life wasn't for him, and he doesn't
Yeah.
regret it, or does he?
Maybe there was a little regret in his voice there, but I think he's past it. He's past it. Where
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this is the life I chose, and here we are.
I mean, and it basically takes Chris Cole, Mark Wahlberg's character, Chrissy, whatever you want to call him. It takes him to the point where he walks off on stage in the same way that it happens to him. Basically, he gives the microphone to Thor, which is Miles Kennedy, who's a famous
Yeah.
musician, and the guy's like basically sings the concert. Let me ask you. You go to see your favorite band of all time, like whatever. Let's say you go to see Metallica.
Yeah.
And James Hetfield just gives the mic and the guitar to some guy in the
Some
audience
dude. Yeah.
and says, "Here you go, dude. Hey, man, get out there. Go give him hell."
Not only
and then he
some
walks away.
dude, some kid that looks like he's maybe 16.
Yeah. He brings the thunder, man. That's why they call him Thor.
I bring the thunder. Yeah.
He did a good job. You could tell like he was doing well, but like, what does the band think? Do they stop the show?
I'm stopping the show if I'm Kurt Cuddy because this is bullshit.
It's done. Like, this is done. You're done.
There's more damage that could be done by this kid screwing up the songs than by taking the chance of him getting it right.
That's fair.
And if you just walk off, you're just pissing off one town one time. Maybe you give refunds. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, they show the behind the scenes or behind the music, like an MTV type thing, and all the band's all pissed off at him. And
Of
Kurt
course.
Cuddy's pissed. He's basically
course.
saying we can live without him.
Yeah.
The bass or the drummer, the dude who's getting dialysis, is like, he's dead to me. I don't care about him. Whatever. Nobody really seems to care. Matt's just says he told me he needed to take a piss.
I think he respected him. I think Matt's respected him.
Yeah, off you go. When he
And
said it.
And it was
respected
his
him.
fault. It was his fault for telling the story.
I said that when I was watching the movie. I thought to myself, I'm like, man, does he regret telling him that story? Like, he just kind of
Probably does.
like torpedoed the band there. So his career's over. He's done.
How much
He
money do you
winds-
think he made?
Well, that's the thing. So if you look back on it, AC and what's his name write all the songs. So he
Yeah.
doesn't get writing credit. He didn't really record anything at that point. Maybe
No.
he recorded some of the new stuff.
So I'm assuming he got a signing bonus, and he
Probably got
probably
that.
got a percentage of the tour money, which
Right.
is significant.
Yeah. For that kind of band, yeah.
Yeah, because they were selling out arenas. So I would say at most $1 million,
Probably.
but maybe not even.
I don't know. This is the 80s, so maybe you got to adjust for inflation now, but I don't know that he made that much. And
Might
then he
have been
walked
500K.
away.
Maybe $500K.
And then, you know what? If he had a contract, they could have sued his ass for leaving. So maybe he
True.
actually
True.
maybe he's bankrupt, and that's why
True.
he's
Yeah.
walking to Seattle there,
Yep.
because they could have sued him for breach of contract. Probably.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe he
They
did,
could, maybe they could strip a signing bonus. Yeah.
because you can't just walk away.
And maybe just you pay him just for work performed and that's it, and the signing bonus is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, long story short, he winds up in Seattle,
Mhm.
and he has a new band called Chris Cole and Band, and that's on the flyer.
It's ridiculous.
There's a flyer in the movie that says Chris Cole and band playing. So he stalks Emily back to Seattle because he knew where she was.
Of course.
I mean, but can you blame him?
Maybe we'll run into her.
She was great.
Yeah.
She left to Seattle to start Starbucks. She started Starbucks, and she has this coffee shop. He was kind of creeping on her in the window, and then he put up these flyers probably right next to her coffee shop so she could see it.
Sure.
You know that was there. And he sings this the Verve Pipe song. It's straight up by them. It's a great song, colorful, man.
I know I can be.
It's a good song. And, after inventing nu metal, he sort of invents grunge at the same time.
Totally invented grunge. At least the grunge look. At least the grunge look.
He had the short, long hair, if that makes any sense at all.
Short, long hair, sure.
Where he took the ponytail and just took the scissors to the ponytail straight across. He had that. He's got Tim Oliphant back in his band. Yep. They reconnected.
They're going to write Hole in a Half. They're going to fully flush out Hole in a Half.
Which I still think I'd love to hear that song someday. But, what do you think of this band? Were they good?
I would listen to that band.
I thought they were pretty good. He's playing in this coffee shop.
I liked that he walked off at the end of the song.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of that move?
It's like, it's kind of baller because like maybe he was done singing usually, but like you still stand up there with your band and like dance around or like, nod your head to it, like, groove with it. But like, it was kind of like awesome that he walked off and the band kept playing and eventually they'll fade out. It was kind of kick ass. I think
the first time I saw this movie, after hearing Matt's comment about what happened to his ex-wife, I got to tell you, I thought that Jennifer Aniston was going to be with Timothy Olyphant because it would have been fitting. It plays the story because he married his best friend. He said
everything
everything
kind of mirrored itself in this movie.
There was so many mirrors of everything, and I think that would have been an interesting.
I never thought of that.
Obviously,
yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to get in the band together if that was the case.
No.
But I actually would have liked that ending because it would have shown like it wasn't worth it to be in your dream band and all this stuff. It really wasn't worth it.
But I'm going to poke holes in your story there because she moved to Seattle. Oliphant was still in Pittsburgh. I believe Oliphant only moved to Seattle once.
I guess
Wahlberg
once they
was
got
already
together,
there.
They didn't really explain it, but that would make sense. Unless
if she went back to her hometown, then for sure.
I mean, unless he's been there and he just didn't tell him.
Maybe. Maybe he invented grunge, not Wahlberg.
Well, because I felt like they had some type of vibe going on. It was even though she didn't want to stay with the talent, or she wanted to stay with the talent, but I thought that would have been an interesting ending. But I was surprised that she took him back. I mean, the implication is that she takes him back. We don't know. Maybe she's married for all we know.
I'm not surprised. I think it's true love.
They belong together.
I'm totally not surprised.
It's a better ending that way. It's a better ending. But what do you think happens to them after the movie? You think they stay together? You think he
I think
becomes
it's true love.
famous? Like, what do you think?
I think he becomes a moderate local success, or at the very least, he's fulfilled in life for having given it a shot.
He got his chance
and
succeeded.
He's got a leg up because people know who he is.
That's true.
He's got the leg up.
Chris Cole.
Look at this guy, this Steel Dragon singer. He's doing his own thing now. This is cool. People would want to check it out.
Well, the interesting thing about the movie behind the scenes is in the Judas Priest actual history. The guy who came into that band, I think, is like he's not in music anymore, from what I understand. He's managing like a restaurant or he has some bar, but it's like famous. So I think people know who he is, and he's got success in life because of that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, I thought the ending was pretty good. That it was a fitting way to end the movie, and it was at least like an open-ended sort of happy ending. But the movie itself is sort of like a collection of scenes and good music.
Yeah.
It's not going to wow you, but it's just an entertaining movie. So what do you think? Does it hold up?
Yeah, the original movie plus like the transitions, there's a lot of like super famous bands and songs layered in, all from the 80s. Like you got your Bon Jovi, your Talking Heads, all mixed in, AC/DC, like transitions from one scene to the next. So like the whole movie is just hitting you with good music after good music after good music. And that by itself like paints a very enjoyable movie and a rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
And it totally holds up. Yeah, I'd watch it again tomorrow. Sure.
If you had to give it a rating out of 10, what would you give it?
This is a 9 out of 10 for me. Now I understand that like for the earth of movies, it's not a 9 out of 10. Like it's not an Academy Award winner. I know not everyone loves this movie, but for me personally, and I know you too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't get much better than this as far as rewatchability and just overall enjoyment. We talked recently with our friend of the pod, Julio, about like how an impossible task it would be to like make a top 5 list or a top 10 list of your
You
favorite
almost need
movies.
genres. Like,
Yeah. So like, what do you do? Like do you put like, I love Quentin Tarantino movies. Like, do I put like 5 Quentin Tarantino movies, or do I only put 1? And do I put a Christopher Nolan movie? And am I allowed to put Deuce Bigelow 2 in the top 5? Like, because I
mean,
know
you
it's
could.
not, it doesn't have, you know, the steam of the other movies, but I love it.
it has
Just like
a
this
lot of
movie.
rewatchability.
Yeah,
and stupid
just like this
jokes.
movie. It's like, is this movie in the top 5? I've seen it more than most any other movie, but I don't know.
I think we're gonna need to do some type of bonus episode on maybe categories of favorite movies,
Yeah.
because I don't even know that you can put comedies in like the list,
Yeah.
because
Do comedies
it's like its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how
I
do you
guess
put
you
a
could do
comedy
overall.
in with The Departed, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could do overall, but we have to break this down at some point in the future.
Yeah.
I think it's a good topic for us
Yeah.
because there's definitely genre lists, and then there's maybe an overall list. And
Yeah.
if you ask me like what is the best technical movie, like on a filmmaking scale, this obviously is not on that list. But from an overall, did I enjoy it and can I rewatch it every single year? Absolutely, this movie's
Yeah.
on that list. And
Mhm.
I would say it's one of my favorite rewatchable movies
Sure.
because of the music, because of the story. It's easy to watch. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's like a popcorn film, right? It's like the equivalent of that. It's just something that you enjoy watching. And if you haven't seen this movie, I know we ruined the hell out of it for you, but you should watch it. It's an entertaining movie, and I recommend everybody check it out.
It's an hour 40. It breezes by. It's very quick and easy watch and listen.
Look, I could gush about this thing all day, but I'm just gonna have to stop there because I could go on for 2 more hours. That'll do it for us for this week. 6 hours of you guys hearing us gush about Rockstar and Mark Wahlberg.
As the sun rises.
As the sun rises. If you're looking for our next episode, we'll be back on Thursday, March 25th. Our website is thelastropodcast.com. Send us an email. Thanks to everybody that sent some in. Follow us on Twitter at thelastropod, facebook.com/thelastropod, Instagram at thelastropod. We're going to post a bunch of stuff about this movie. We're going to try to do a little bit more so you know what the context is to some of the stuff that we're talking about. And on that note, we'll see you guys on the 25th.
See ya.
I got to go take a piss, by the way. I'm going to take a piss.
Off you go.